It's such a privilege to have in our midst a mentor and a brother who has been a guide all through the years. So, the essence of this training, the essence of this seminar is just to challenge everyone that would be here, especially members of our organization, and to bring up this never giving up spirit within us and position us for greater opportunities in the course of the year. So we would be spending just an hour in this training, in this leadership seminar, and I want to assure you that we won't waste much of your time, but please just give attention. And for those that are joining anew, please endeavor to mute yourself when you join. So the training is going to be divided into two sections. The first section we have speak to us mentor from Canada, Mr. Bamidele Oni, for 30 minutes. And the second section would come in place after a short break of 5 minutes. And that will just linger for about 20 minutes. So without further much ado, I would like to throw the floor open to our mentor all the way from Canada, Mr. Bamidele Oni. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Colin. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for hosting me today, and thank you so much for giving me the privilege to speak to these amazing set of people. I must say, I was, how do I put it? I was a little bit challenged when Colin told me that he would actually want me to come on board and give a little bit of talk about the topic begin again too on this platform. And however, as you know, right now it's actually past midnight here in Canada. I had to set up my alarm to ensure that I don't miss the timing. And I'm sorry if I'm not. How do I put it? If I appear to speak a little bit, how do I put it? To ensure that I don't wake up so late for work tomorrow morning. Anyway, um, let's get started. Um, so we're talking about beginning again, and I'm not really this kind of a person that would actually give you 10 steps to making it, 5 steps to actually ensuring you begin again. No, I kept on thinking in my mind about where I'm going to start off from and what I'm going to talk to you about and how I'm going to actually leave an impact. So these are actually the few things that actually came to my mind. Beginning again. Trust me, there comes a time when you've done all you can do. There comes a time when it feels as if you've given out your best, but it seems you generally get in return what you've given out as your best. And that is certain to happen. There is always a point in time when you have to go through the valleys and when you have to climb the highs. And trust me, life would never be perfect without the lows and the highs. Those things are certain to happen. And without those things, there is no way we'll be able to learn. There is no way we'll be able to get better. There will be no way for us to actually have an experience which we could share with other people. So I would say beginning again is a positive thing, not entirely a negative thing. It depends on how you define it. Begin again is actually an opportunity for you to go back to. I hope that interruption stops anyway. So, like I was saying, beginning again actually gives one the opportunity of actually going back to the drawing board, setting it right, taking that step again, even though it seemed as if we didn't get it right in the first instance. That gives us the opportunity of retracing where we got it wrong. That gives us the opportunity of going in a way that we never went through before, using another perspective to starting up all over again. That is exactly how I would define begin again. Begin again is a positive thing. Begin again gives you a more vantage position of seeing things in another way, not in the same way you've done it in the past. I'll give you a little bit of story of how Green Impact actually started. Perhaps that would actually motivate us. I actually got a, I mean, how do I put it? I think I met Kunle when I was actually finishing up my master's program at the Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta. I remember that. And those days were actually, I would call it, in the middle of those period when I was actually in my valleys.
Eh?
I had the highs and the lows. But then there was a particular point in time when a lot of things were not really working as it ought to work. I remember that I started Green Impact in 2011 all by myself. I didn't have so many people to volunteer with me to start off the course. I I came back from South Africa where I went to attend the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. I came back with a lot of energy, with a lot of motivation, and I just wanted to start up something to make a change in my own capacity in the little way I could actually afford it. I didn't have the funding. I didn't have the wherewithal. I didn't have the people that I could actually carry along. But then I started on the strength of having God by my side and having the desire to make a change. I started with the little I could actually, gather. I started with the little funding I had in my pocket. I didn't even have a computer at that point in time. I had to borrow a computer from a friend of mine. And I started very, very small. I started reaching out to people that I could actually volunteer with me. I started reaching out to young students. I'm so sorry that I don't know where that interruption keeps coming from. But please, I think it's actually be appropriate if we can also all mute ourselves, at least for a bit. Don't worry, I won't take your time at all. Trust me. Within some few minutes, I'll be out of here. But I think if you'd actually give me a little bit of time to share this bit of story, I think in a way it could actually help us to motivate us into the next level. So I started Green Impact. I went out to young secondary school students, trying to educate them about what my dream was about, trying to start up small. Gradually, I started and I walked up my path into what do you call it, to reaching out to people who I think would actually, help me out as volunteers for the cause. Because one thing I actually had in my mind is no matter what it takes, I will give it my best. People would actually need to see the samples of my work. They will need to see what I've done before they could actually say, yes, I actually buy into this dream. I buy into this cause. So I laid out my samples in giving out my best and starting small. And gradually I started getting, you know, people started actually seeing what I could do. People started showing interest in taking up the course, in joining the course, in volunteering for the course. That was, how do I put it? A starting point from me. Because it's one thing to actually start a vision, and it's another thing for people to see through the vision you started. So I started a course, and along the line, people could see themselves living through the dream. Trust me, that is a testimony. That gives you, how do I put it? That gives you an idea that yes, there is a future in what I'm doing. Like Kone is actually doing right now. In bringing a lot of people on this platform, people coming along, tagging along, seeing themselves in this vision, talks a great deal about how the future of this vision will be. So I had volunteers, I had people who were ready to run the race with me. We started, reaching out to rebuild. the walls of Jerusalem. Did you know that it wasn't just a day job? Despite the fact that Nehemiah actually got the grant to go ahead and build the wall from the king, Nehemiah had to, what do you call it? Nehemiah had to take quite a number of steps to ensure that the walls of Jerusalem was rebuilt. It relied on people. It relied on the strength of the people that were with him. And it relied on God. Those three things helped him to rebuild the walls. And the walls took quite a number of years to be rebuilt, not just a day job. So there is a responsibility for every step for every step you take towards your goal, there is a responsibility at every point in time. Remember, nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. And how do I put it? I just want to encourage each and every one of you. I don't know where you are at right now. I don't know what point you are right now. But I want to tell you something. You might not really see what you want to see right now. You might not really see, how do I put it, what you've always been anticipating. But trust me, it will come with time. It will come with dedication. Do not give up so soon because the day, what do you call it? The dawn is almost here. The dawn is almost here. The dawn is almost here. And never forget that the strongest motivation you can ever have is God. I'll tell you that. The strongest motivation you can ever have is God. I've had quite a number of, you know, difficulties. I've had quite a number of disappointments. Who knew that the years of my experience working through Green Impact would actually bring me to Canada? I mean, I never, how do I put it? I've had quite a number of opportunities, but the biggest of all the opportunities that the organization I started from the scratch had ever brought me was a scholarship that I won back in 2017. And it was as a result of the years of diligence, the years of working, like the years of working, how do I put it? The years of working my small dream. And eventually the reality came alive. I can tell you categorically today, I can tell you that it pays to walk with God and it pays to be diligent and it pays to stand up each time you fall down. Green Impact International started in 2011 without getting incorporated in Nigeria until 2016. And I can tell you one thing, I didn't pay a dime out of my purse to get the organization registered. After we actually got the big grant from Access Bank, that was when some people actually stood up and they registered the organization with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. I didn't spend a dime. And then when MasterCard came, it was exactly everything I've done in the past, like since 2011, that I actually coupled together and submitted as my motivation for the MasterCard Fellowship. And that's exactly what God used to get me here today. And now Green Impact International has finally become a global organization. Green Impact International is now a registered Canadian institution. And I didn't start big. I had my lows and downs. I had those times when I almost thought of giving up. And I had those times when I had almost zeroed down on myself. But then, trusting God, faith in God helped me to progress. Do not forget those things that I've said. Climbing the hill is never a linear journey. The progression goes vertically. And when you are climbing vertically, there will always be the tendency of falling back. There is always the tendency of coming across obstacles. There is always the tendency of looking high and say, can I ever summon this hill? Never give up. We're to learn on this journey. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm so sorry if I really tried as much as possible to keep him within the time, and so that I don't waste your time, and at the same time, so I give myself a great deal of opportunity to, get to meet every one of you and to learn, because I'm still learning. No one is an island advantage. And thank you so much, Conley, for granting me the opportunity to speak to your colleagues. It's a wonderful platform, and I encourage you to do more of this. I hope you guys have been able to learn a little bit from my story. Um, there is still more to say. I hope I'll have more opportunities like this to share with you. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say for now.